You mean the
We
prelim?
it says we back live. Okay, we can test it just to make sure.
Okay.
People probably looking at me like I'm stupid right now.
What just
I
happened?
just know it says live when you can see us on the screen.
Right.
Yeah, we're live.
All right. Good.
Alright, now we're
back
on.
back to looking like normal. All right. Good. All right. Probably lost a little bit of talking there, but let's let's talk about this Mikey Garcia versus Sandor Martin. Oh man, what a mess that was. What is going on with Mikey? You know, it sounds like commentators are basically blaming this on long layoff and ring rust. Do you guys actually think that's the issue? Did he lose all passion for boxing, or is is he too far up there? Should he start to try to see if he can't make lower weight?
I think it was a little of all of those.
A little
Plus
bit.
what you just said, which is that he needed to drop that weight and come back down. But the dedication, I don't know. They said he had a great camp, so I'm gonna trust and believe that. But I feel that the desire wasn't there. Um, and also the issue too was even when he saw something coming, he wasn't
He
able
was
to.
sluggish.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the exact word. Sluggish, very sluggish. I mean, and I think it was more to do with you know the weight class, the weight the layoff, and then it's like, how do you get yourself motivated when you're comfortable in your life? And this is something that a lot of boxers face at some point if they had a successful career. Is where do you find that love? I suggest that he go hang out with Nonito Donaire and take a couple of pointers from him on how he said he fell back in love with boxing, after his child was born and stuff like that. He admitted that he kind of lost interest for a minute,
Mm.
or didn't have the strong desire he once did, and then he started doing little things and starting to feel out the nuances and trying to figure out how he can deal with an older body in there, learning new tricks, to compensate for not being able to move as much. For Mikey Garcia, I know people are saying it was just because of his physicality, but I really think his opponent came to win and he had a plan. And I don't think he was as bad as people think or thought he was initially, right? Because I know, Lucas, you like to compare people to what was the boxer's name, Soka or somebody.
Rod Salka.
Yes, I mean, I feel like it's the same thing we see on the local cards where somebody's record is deceiving or somebody's record doesn't have a lot of names on it, so you're not familiar with, that boxer in general. So you assume that they're not that good when actuality is that, some of them are very slick boxers. And I think that's what Mikey ran into. So I do want to give him his kudos.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Sandor Martin, but saying that, I mean, we can't honestly say that Mikey Garcia looked normal either.
Right. I agree.
Rob, you're being awful quiet. I need you to say something, and I'm
Oh no.
predicting something. You're gonna say Mikey Garcia
So,
ain't shit.
so, just a few notes that I took in regards to this fight. That's really weird to me. Very, very weird to me why he took this fight. Reason being is because he was in talks first to fight Prograis at 140, and that fight was supposed to take place in the fall, but DAZN said we're not paying you that type of money right now. You have been out of the ring for so long, they didn't want to pay it. So why is your next move to go back up to 147 to meet Martin, a guy you really don't know anything about? All you think that he's going to give you those rounds, but you don't know really what type of competitor he is. And this is a quote from Martin. I know myself. I know my capabilities. He's a complete boxer, but he's not a natural 147 pounder. Spence proved that. Now, an underdog, and what is being called the underdog, the upset of the latest century right now, prove that you're not a true 147 pounder. So if he was really dedicated to his craft and taking a big fight like Prograis, he probably should have took a 140-pound fight and came in much sharper than what he did Saturday. So all those things you have to question. It has to go back to question his dedication to the sport. Period. It has to go back to his dedication to the sport, because if he knows himself, he knows his capabilities, he should not be fighting at 147.
Ooh,
Yeah,
you put a lot there.
I agree. I think that was well said, Rob. I don't think 147 is for him. This would seem to be at some kind of catch weight or something, but he definitely needs to go back down. The problem is did they set this up because he cannot make 140? Or he's unwilling to make 140?
Now, that's where I question his dedication. He should have been able to make 140, especially if you're lobbying for a fight with Prograis. You haven't been in the ring, period. You have not been in the ring. So anybody at 140, you should have been able to take and have the same motivation. You can't sit there and make excuses and say, oh, for Prograis, I would have got ready for that fight. I'd have made the weight at 140 and this and that. But since I can't get Prograis, let's jump back up to 147. He's not disciplined enough for that.
Yeah, and I hate to go back on what I just said, because I'm going to have to take away some from Martin, okay? Martin has only fought three times, outside of Spain, okay? He lost 2 fights already to guys with, Anthony Yiggett, he lost to when he was undefeated, but since then, the guy Yiggett's lost a couple of times. And Alexander Lepele, no idea who that is, from Barcelona. But this guy, Mikey, basically what I'm trying to say is Mikey Garcia, a normal version of Mikey Garcia, should have been able to school this guy. It's that he's not in it whatsoever.
Woo, and don't forget, the key is that his opponent was actually his opponent went up to fight him at that catch weight. He said in the post interview that he just wanted to move back down where he's more comfortable at.
Right.
Right.
Go ahead.
Now, I no longer want to see Mikey Garcia. Before this fight, the only time that I saw him was in street clothes. And it was in interviews talking about his missionary work that he does, talking about the work that he does outside of the ring. And I haven't seen him a lot inside the ring.
Which is amazing work, by the way. It's amazing work. It is nothing to be embarrassed about. But if that's where your heart is at this point in time, you need to go ahead and make that move fully.
But to do that, you still have to have the money flow. You know what I mean? You have to fund it.
Exactly.
That's true.
So he's barking up the wrong tree right now. If that's what he plans on being or doing, you need that fame and notoriety to do it. And right now, he doesn't even have that any longer. Now, I'm even going a step further, because this is why I say he ain't shit. His dad and his brother lived for the sport. His brother still lives for the sport. He eats it, breathes it, in the camp, in training every day with a fighter, training somebody. They live and breathe for this sport. So is he like the spoiled child now, since he was the fighter, since he was the one living out their dreams? Is he kind of the spoiled child to where they just let his ass off the hook. Because you know good and well, Robert Garcia is not letting any of his true fighters get away with that stuff.
No, of course he's a spoiled child. I mean, he ain't, like you said, he's nobody else is gonna get away with that. But at the same time, I think Robert Garcia knows a little bit more in depth on how Mikey is, and I think it right now. I don't even think it's a secret anymore. I think it is that just Mikey's he's checked out, man, mentally, and you can't do that in boxing. Okay, you can half-ass work your way through a lot of professional sports. Boxing, you cannot do that. You have to be mentally focused, as they say. It's 80% mental, man. And if he ain't in it, his heart ain't in it. There's nothing you can do about it. And I think it is one of those things where, you know, you see your brothers and your other family and, you know, everybody picks it up. And you're good at it. So, you know, you compete just to embarrass your family. But now it's to the point that, you know...
Well, Robert Garcia, I mean, also, remember Brandon Rios? He said that they started getting so close that he was not able to, you know, really work him the way that he needed to be worked and be on top of in a training camp. So and Robert has, you know, something when they close to his heart, he might have that little, you know, let you off the hook situation.
Yeah, I think Robert Garcia is that way. He seems to be a big softy once you get close to him, which is fine. But when you're coming to a fighter, especially a guy like Brandon Rios, like you're talking about, you have to be that guy that's like, no, man, can't eat no donut right now. What are you doing? You're in training camp, dude.
Right.
Some people need that.
The other thing about them is that, you know, it's like that last child. He apparently has always been the one that was given all of God's gifts to be the boxer. He had those type of skills and that type of, you know, just physicality from day one. And what do you do when you're in a boxing family? Your dad's into boxing, your brother's into boxing, your business is boxing, your hobby is boxing. You box. So I think that's how he got into it, but apparently he's never been the one that was just, you know, so crazy about boxing the way that his family is. So, you know, it's kind of like, well, this is what it is because he was never, even though he was given the best skill set naturally, he just, that's just not his thing, is apparently, is what I've heard. But I mean, he did a damn good job at it. If it wasn't his thing, I mean, damn. I mean, remember when the talk was him versus Lomachenko? That's all he ever wanted, his fans. You know, like he was up there as far as names are concerned, and I want to see him get back to that. But at this time, it might not be. You know, it might not be in his heart.
So let me ask you both this. You both can answer. Was the fight with Errol Spence a cash-out fight? Because if you think about it, why take that? There's people at 135 to fight that are big money. There's people at 140 that you can fight. Instead, you jump to 147 to fight Errol Spence. There was no rush for that fight. I mean, yeah, it was a pay-per-view, but I don't even really think it was all the way successful of a pay-per-view. It seems to me like he knew he was done and has won it out and just kind of, you know, went through the motions. It seems like he was wanting to cash out to me, but I want to see what you guys think.
I don't feel like he was trying to cash out. I feel like he was trying to dare to be great at that time, and he really thought in his mind that he could do it because apparently his team was, you know, trying to counsel him into not doing it. But he felt in his
heart, that would have
like,
been the right option.
Yeah, like he just felt in his mind that he could, you know, perform with a Spence. And that ended up, I think what happened is once he got up there, and then you don't want to admit you're wrong, so you have another fight. And you get kind of the result you wanted with Vargas, so you still stay there. And after a while, once you get some L's or you don't look as good, you start being down on yourself, and then you lose focus, and your mind is going shifting to other things, and instead of like really dealing with the fact that, damn, I really was wrong, and I should have stayed my ass down to a lower weight class.
I know in boxing you got to kind of have a big ego, but I think a lot of people were like, what is he doing? Why are you jumping two weight classes? That whole Errol Spence fight, there were some people still picking Mikey, and I'm like, what? No.
Hey,
Yeah, why? I was like, I can't see it. There was people out there, a lot of them, still riding with Mikey, saying Mikey has a better skill set. And maybe Mikey does, but you can't mess with weight classes like that. Rob, I want your opinion on this, too.
My opinion is no. Unfortunately,
He wasn't
Mikey
cashing
Garcia-
himself out.
No. Unfortunately, Mikey Garcia became a victim of getting fame too soon. He believed he was, with all those victories, with everything that he had, with all that skill, all that talent, all that hype, he believed he could beat anybody he faced, including Errol Spence. I'm gonna say something I regret. Bob Arum maybe was right. Okay.
I know that hurt you. I know that hurt you to say.
Mikey Garcia really hurt himself when he stopped his momentum by bowing out to Bob Arum, and he did so because Mikey wanted the Errol Spences too early, and Bob was trying to actually protect him. And as much as it pains me to say that, at this point, I'm definitely seeing that maybe Bob was right.
Can we also talk about Zachary Young's scorecard? Why? How in the hell would you score this a draw, other than corruption?
Oh, okay.
Favoritism,
That
maybe?
was the card where it was even. It was
Yeah.
really even
I was
there.
like, what? As soon as I heard
Okay.
even, I was like, oh man, here it comes. Mikey's gonna win. This is bullshit.
I was just like, wow. I saw him with his hands up, and I'm like, Mikey, put your hand down, dog. You know. and then they said the even score. I'm like, what? Oh, maybe he knows something we don't know. But thankfully, the other two judges, like you said, there's always three, and I mean, there's always one out of the three. So I mean, yeah, that was kind of crazy right there. But what was funny to me was, guys, they were doing fireworks before the fight. It was like they were already in party mode for Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, Mikey already won. This was supposed to be a tune-up anyway. I mean, oh, what a mess.
Fresno was a Mikey crowd, but I was like, what is going on? Why are we having fireworks before the actual fight even starts? Like, was this supposed to be like a homecoming fight where you just get a freebie or something based on the zone? You know what I'm saying?
No, the issue again is exactly what I said: giving him too much fame and too much notoriety, aka giving him too much credit. He thinks that he should be the celebrated fighter, or should be a celebrated fighter. He's not. Let's stop with the fireworks. Let's stop with the.
Say that.
And matter of fact, in his next fight, I don't even want to see a ring entrance. He should already be in the ring when they announce his name.
You way too low.
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite, okay? Because I gotta take some off Sandor Martin. I'm sorry, but he should not have lost to this guy. What?
We
can hear you. It's just a little low.
No. That better. All right. Can you hear me? All right.
No,
it's still good enough.
All right. Well, anyway, I hate to be a hypocrite because Sandor Martin, he won, but at the same time, we know that this fight between Mikey Garcia and Sandor, it shouldn't be a loss. That should be a Garcia win on paper. Now, if you're looking at a fight like Pacquiao Ugas, and Ugas gets that upset, a lot of people that are in the know can be like, man, Ugas is very talented of a fighter. This is not a tune-up for Pacquiao. But for Sandor Martin to beat Mikey Garcia, I would have loved to see the Vegas odds. Rob, I know you're a bet man. Did you happen to see or hear what the odds were for Sandor Martin? There's got to be some Buster Douglas type shit. Because
I'll get back to you on it.
I guarantee you, it's got to be big, right? This was a setup fight, and I hate to always be like, oh well, Mikey Garcia was supposed to win, and we're talking about him. So let's talk a little bit about Sandor Martin and what's going to be up next for him. I honestly don't think much. Because who's gonna fight him? I mean, the performance was good enough to beat Mikey Garcia, but we both know, and we all know that this wasn't Mikey Garcia's best. It was far from it. Where does he go? Because I mean, right now it's gonna be very high risk, little reward, and by little reward I mean minuscule reward. The win of Mikey Garcia ups his value some, but like I was saying, he's only had 3 fights out of Spain.
Well, I mean, I'm not as concerned about whether he had, the fights were there in his home country or not. I think the main issue is, just not knowing the level of his talent, really, because he was matched against someone that wasn't at their best that night. So, I mean, me personally, I'd like to see him against someone else at his real weight division so we can kind of gauge exactly where he really is as a boxer, instead of just totally writing him off because Mikey was having a bad night. But apparently they're supposed to have a rematch. I don't know if, to me, it's like if Mikey's interested in coming back, does he need to fight this fight against him again?
I'd say he has to, wouldn't you guys? I mean, to lose to this guy, he has to. Not only does he have to win, he has to put an exclamation point on it and be like, "This was a fluke." Because if he goes back and loses to Sandor Martin, he needs to hang him up. He's done.
Well,
and I'm sure there was a rematch clause. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, they said that this was a pick by Eddie Hearns, and they're looking at Eddie Hearns now like, what the fuck, dude? Did you try to set us up? Like, you told us this was gonna be an easy one and we could have fireworks. What the hell was that?
This is supposed to be our easy night, and it turned into not so easy night. But I'm hoping Mikey Garcia comes back and actually can focus again, because I mean, he was a monster back when he was, had his head on his shoulders. I don't think 147 is it, but we do need to move on. We got Herring and Shakur Stevenson to talk about. I am very excited for this fight. I think it's flying way under the radar, and I would like it to get a little bit more attention than what this fight is getting. But let's talk a little bit about it, guys. How do you see this fight going? And we can start giving predictions towards the end of how you guys see this go.
So, Lucas, you haven't seen the access for it?
No, I didn't even know there was an all access.
ESPN built a little all access thing for this fight. You got to check it out.
Peacock or what's it on? How do I watch it?
I think it's on the ESPN.
Oh, ESPN app.
Yeah, and it could be ESPN Plus. It could be ESPN Plus.
Okay.
But I know that they built like an all access on it.
Hell, I didn't even know they did that. I'm definitely going to check that out probably later on after the show. But
yeah, I didn't watch it either.
It's still flying underneath the radar. Like, ESPN only promotes on ESPN, which is stupid. Like, promote outside of ESPN. It could be so much bigger. I think Wilder Fury did an amazing job promotional-wise. I couldn't watch football or any other sporting event without, seeing Wilder Fury. Shit, my kids were watching, like, wrestling or something. I saw Wilder Fury, and Dad, you gonna watch that? I'm like, yeah, I'm watching that. You guys can watch it with me. But there was
I think they'll also get helped because it's airing after the primetime football. College football is big on Saturdays for ESPN. and the
True.
fight is airing immediately after their primetime network broadcast. And they've done well when they've done that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully
Oh
they
God,
get a lot
cross
from
our
it.
fingers that it's not any overtime shenanigans or something like that. Because we'll be sitting there and I'm waiting and waiting, and then meanwhile they've switched channels on me, and they've got it already playing on ESPN2 or Deporte or some stuff. That's always like exciting for a boxing fan. But I don't know why, but I went online today and I was like, yeah, this is fight week for them. You know, I thought I was going to see a lot of banter, a lot of back and forth, or a lot of promotional stuff, and I saw nothing. It is fight week.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about social media, which would be actually like free for ESPN and Top Rank to do, and I saw nothing. I take that back. I saw Shakur with his baby mama, who's going to be his baby mama.
Yeah, I seen that too. It was the pregnancy
weird.
pictures and stuff. I saw that more on social media and everything else than I did anything about the fight.
Yeah, that threw me off a bit, you know. So I was like, what is going on? Like, they're doing a very poor job, and I believe that happened because they put all this engine and work into Fury Wilder, promoting that and making sure everything was like bam, bam, bam. Every time you picked up your phone, you saw, you know, an ad or some type of promo for them. And since this card was like right behind it by 2 weeks, I guess, it kind of like it's an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's feeling to me, market wise. I don't know, and hopefully the fight lives up to the hype because, you know, I'm feeling like we're gonna see a real special fight.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for, and we're not seeing it in the hype of fight week though.
No. Ed Howard says they need to switch the game to ESPN2 and show the boxing program from the beginning. I would love that.
See? Yeah. I mean, but what do you guys think about Shakur having these pictures and things like that? Okay, with his future baby mama, and it like leads you to feel like, is his mind in the right spot right now because he has a baby on the way? Like, did that cross your mind, Lucas, when you saw that?
It did a little bit, but more than anything, I just think that it's too much too soon for Shakur Stevenson. Jamal Herring's experience is definitely overlooked, and you know, people count him out a lot. I mean, this is not going to be the first time. I'm sure most people put their chips on Carl Frampton. Herring outworked him, and I honestly think that Herring's going to outwork Shakur. Everything that Frampton would answer, and for everything Frampton threw, Herring would throw, you know, 2 or 3 more. He's going to outwork him. It's just a matter of how well can Shakur counterpunch to try to get him off of him. And I don't think Shakur's seen enough yet to really be able to do it effectively, basically. I see Jamal Herring actually somewhat winning wide.
You know, I thought that Gonzalez was supposed to show Shakur what aggression means and see how he dealt with a lot of pressure coming in, but that didn't seem to work that particular night for Gonzalez, even though we saw recently in his fight this weekend that he does have that ability to push you back if he wants to. I mean, he's pushing back Navarrete. So it's kind of like, well, does that mean that's how good Shakur is that he's able to use his defense to like neutralize you from being effective aggressively towards him, pushing him back? Because I didn't see that much of that in that particular fight. Now, Gonzalez is saying that he was distracted with the whole family dynamics and the girlfriend and sister and all that stuff going on. And he said that affected his performance. But I mean, some of that has to be credited to Shakur. So I'm not too sure what Herring is going to be doing once he's, you know, maybe trying to fight him or punch him and he's not there. He's already moved positions.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how he's going to deal with that frustration if it does happen.
So are you also leaning towards Herring?
No, with Shakur? What's wrong with you?
You pulled a Rob on me.
But I am looking forward to seeing how he deals with that, because I saw in one of his other fights with the Puerto Rican boxer. I forget his name. Starts with an O, I think. Chilean or something like that. Anyway, he was like getting frustrated with that opponent. You remember it was the fight right before he fought Frampton, and he got a little frustrated in that fight, guys. So I'm just wondering if he's gonna get frustrated with Shakur if he comes in the same fashion he normally does.
The fight
is very elusive.
The fight before Frampton was Jonathan Oquendo.
Oquendo, that's him.
And he won that one pretty wide.
He
too.
did, but remember there was like some controversy with that fight on the end part.
Yeah, Oquendo was trying to headbutt him a lot and got DQ'd. So.
Yeah, but a lot of people felt that Herring was trying to get out of the fight as well, and was like, frustrated with the whole movement and different things, awkwardness that that boxer was offering.
I mean, that happens, especially when the styles clash and you start to hit heads. Bradley was well known for that. I don't think it was ever intentional. I'm not sure if Oquendo's was intentional or not either, but it does lean that way sometimes, and there's really nothing you can do. But I bet once you get headbutted a couple times and you start to get split open, then you're like, I do want out of this fight. I think everybody would. Because it's angering, and, what are you going to do? You can't really retaliate and just headbutt the shit out of him back. I mean, it is what it is, So you want back out, but I don't know. I just think, for me, Shakur doesn't have... I mean, the gap of experience is massive to me. No? I mean, what's Shakur's next best win? Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's Olympic class. But go ahead.
My take on this is this, period. Listen, Shakur Stevenson has the ability to dictate any fight he is in. Exclusively. He can exclusively dictate the fight in any way, which is why experts were trying to put him up in the pound for pound list already without that huge resume, because the kid has all the skills, all the intangibles to dictate how the fight goes, no matter who he fights. I think it's those intangibles, it's that ability to do that, this being the biggest fight on the biggest stage of his career. You're going to hear every single commentary want him to put him back on that pound for pound list after Saturday night. I think he can dictate whether he schools Herring to a decision victory, but I don't think he's going to look for that. I think he's mad after the shit he got after that last fight. I think he dictates it to where he earns a knockout victory on Saturday night.
So not only do you think he can school Herring, but you think he can knock the motherfucker out.
Again, Shakur Stevenson, let me reiterate this. Shakur Stevenson has the ability to dictate any fight he's in exclusively. If he wants to earn a knockout, it's there. He can earn a knockout. If he wants to earn a decision, he can earn a decision. If he wants to push the fight and make it be a boring, lopsided decision, he can go that route. But this Saturday, he knows what's at stake. He's going to dictate it to where he earns the knockout.
I'm taken aback by the knockout prediction. I honestly...
He's grown into his grown man body now, Lucas.
He ain't that damn grown.
So here's what it is. Herring is honestly going to think he has a shot because of all the things Lucas is talking about. To Herring, this is a little kid still in front of him. he still sees all those quote unquote issues that people talk about with Stevenson. And talent wise, intangibles, skill set, the way he fights, the way he dictates the fights, there are no issues.
That's the problem, though, is you're
no
judging
issues.
off lesser competition, though, Rob. He's going up against somebody that's we always talk about levels. Okay, there is levels and levels above what Shakur Stevenson has faced, and that's what he's doing. He's jumping up not one, not two. I'm saying about 4 levels here. If you look at Jamel, look at Jamel's Herring's record. Okay, you look at Lamont Roach. Okay. Prospect, undefeated. A lot of people thought Roach was going to, upset him. Boom. No. Jonathan Oquendo's a great fighter, too. Okay? Both those. That may be the same level. Carl Frampton, that's another level up. Right? So we're talking at least 2 solid levels, and if Jamel Herring schooled the shit out of Frampton, he's another level up. That's at least 3 levels. Okay?
No, he was just way bigger than Frampton.
I don't know about that. I mean...
You know.
I don't know about that. I don't think it's just that, though. I mean, it was skill, it was everything.
But it lessened the amount of value for me that Herring gets from a win against Frampton. That's the point. Is that if it's a big enough size difference that it lessens the value of the win, then it is a weight issue. It's a weight difference. But Lucas, I hear what you're saying about the experience, and he has more names on his record, but not that much more. Like, you mentioned some names. We know Lamont.
Listen,
he didn't beat a champion, okay? He didn't.
And you mentioned Frampton. Those are 2 big names, and they're at different levels than Shakur's fault. Obviously, we understand that, but it ain't like he got millions of names down there to be like, I'm the experienced guy in here way more than you are, Shakur. Shakur is a phenom. Let's not get it twisted. That's not an ordinary, everyday boxer that's like learned his skill and worked his way up. He started at the playing field of a Herring, where as soon as he, turned pro. That's completely different than an average boxer that's worked their way up. I think that they are levels to this game, and I think that Herring is going to have to prove to me that he's on the same level as Shakur. It's backwards. You're saying Shakur needs to, basically let you know that he's close to Herring, but I think
Since I started the argument, I do disagree with Shakur. I think Stevenson has to level up. I do think he has to level up in this fight. My point is he can damn well do it, and do it at a higher level than Lucas can even fathom right now. He can do it and earn a knockout victory.
Listen. I'm not saying that Shakur Stevenson is not amazing. He's silver Olympic medalist for a reason. He's a great boxer, and his skills, if you're saying both of them in their prime, I'm picking Shakur Stevenson. The point is they're not in their prime. Shakur Stevenson's still too green for me. And let's see, Ed Howard says, I think Shakur has the better skills, but Herring is more battle-tested in his wins and losses. I agree strongly with Ed Howard. Okay. I mean, that's kind of nailing the head.
Rob statement.
Ed, comment back.
The record, I was talking about the skills. I was talking about the boxing IQ. I was talking about the defensiveness. I'm talking about the packaging.
I got you.
I'm not talking about the resume.
Okay. But the resume plays a part into professional boxing. I mean, if it's not the amateurs anymore, it's a different category. If they're fighting the amateurs, Shakur wins. But this is different. This pro fighting, this is completely different. Ed Howard, please comment back. What's your prediction? Who do you got? Because it sounds like me and you are on the same wavelength. I just want to hear who you have. Rob, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Somebody on your side.
I don't want somebody on my side. I like battling, okay? I like that back and forth.
I'm not saying that Herring's going to be a walk in the park by any means. I just think that he's about to be tested, too, on some levels. He's not without a challenge.
I'm saying unanimous decision, Herring by about 4 points.
Let me make.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me make the Rob statement. Let me make the Rob statement. Shakur Stevenson is the new Floyd Mayweather. Okay, I
Oh
say
man,
it all the time.
look,
You heard it here first.
the problem
He's
now
the
is
next Floyd Mayweather.
I like Shakur Stevenson, and now you just jinxed the man because every time you call somebody the new Floyd Mayweather, they tank.
Who was the last one that he said this about, Lucas?
Broner?
Broner?
Fortuna. He said Javier Fortuna was the next Floyd Mayweather.
No,
I also said that about Tank, but I believe Tank, and I haven't been wrong about that, but I believe Tank is a different animal. Shakur Stevenson, defensive wise, talent wise, skill level wise, I believe is going to be the next Floyd Mayweather.
Okay. I mean, I understand what you're thinking, but I think that Shakur is ready to like show some power as well. Like I think he's been working on, having more of more power in his punches. And I think he wants to be a little different than Floyd, who was way more just defensive mindedness. Now he'll pop you one good, from time to time throughout the rounds. But I think Shakur is working on. He wants, devastation in that ring. Like he wants to actually cause some damage to his opponent. So that's a little different. He wants to hit you for real and then not get hit.
He can want it all he wants. The problem is I don't think it's there. Okay, he's got 50% knockout ratio right now, and I don't think he has it. I mean, he's more of a I gotta build it up type guy. He's more of an accumulation, and I don't see that. So right now it's
nothing's wrong with that either, Lucas.
Say what?
Nothing's wrong with having accumulation.
No, nothing's wrong with that at all. I don't think Herring's going to allow that.
That's Rob. That's your boy Rob that thinking about a KO. I'm not too sure about that because I haven't seen it, but I know he has been working on his strength and the power. So, we'll have to see what happens, but I understand where you're coming from on that one, Lucas.
Hey, I've doubted Herring in the past too, guys. This is your learning opportunity. Oh man. I know we need to get off of here, but I did want to touch on that. I think strongly that Herring is going to win this one. Like I said, I'm giving him 4 points. That's what I'm expecting. Rob and Sakura both have Shakur winning, but I wish somebody else was on the panel. I need Javi. I need somebody else. I feel like I'm alone right now. But
well, Ed did respond back to you, so you can read his comment. We can be our fourth person for tonight.
All right. He says I'm going to lean more towards Shakur, not because of offense, but more of defense. I think he'll frustrate Herring, but you never know. Floyd was defensive in his early 30s, not his early 20s.
Very true.
Potential to be better, but for me, it's just too much too soon.
Well, who else was he going to fight at super featherweight? And he's the one with the title, so...
I mean, he's got other options. There's always other options.
I ain't hear no name. Did you,
Doesn't matter.
Said doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter who it is.
All right. Well,
okay.
We're going to see you on Saturday.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
If Shakur does win, do you see lightweight in his future? Do you think he takes that belt and then he just moves right on up?
I don't know. There's a good possibility. I think he might look towards trying to unify completely and be undisputed. But I think he does need, especially now, I already doubting his current resume and building up his experience. I think he needs to be a little bit more careful. I don't want him to bite off more than he can chew and move up in weight and then, go back down. I think Shakur has definitely a higher ceiling than a lot of the other people right now. His current age and his current weight, I think he's being moved appropriately. So I do not see him moving up, but I'm not sure about you guys.
I didn't know. I just wanted y'all opinion.
Right.
I don't. But real quick, I know I'm pushing the envelope because I'm the one that needs to go. But I just want to know what y'all prediction for the Bridgerweight Heavyweight Championship of the world, or whatever they call it.
Bridgerweight cat division. You know this.
Who was your pick?
I have no idea. I posted earlier these two fights. We got Rivas versus Rozicki. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I'm interested because I do think we have a need for a Bridgerweight division.
Me, I don't want the Bridgerweight division. I see a need, as Sakura says. I do see a need, but I just don't want it.
There's a need, but you don't want it.
I mean, I see a need because that's what Cruiserweight started out as, and Cruiserweight already doesn't get no love. Do you honestly think Bridgerweight's gonna get any love? No, it's another sore eye for boxing.
Pounds. It's like a junior heavyweight.
Hey, I think Usyk might prove me right. Maybe we don't need a Bridgerweight.
And maybe he proves you dead ass wrong.
He could.
And then you gonna want a Bridgerweight. You're gonna be like, Usyk, he can take over the Bridgerweight. As soon as that Fury fight happens and Fury grabs all those belts, all 277 pounds of them, you're gonna be like, we can have it. We can have a Bridgerweight with
you know, in a way,
you changing shit up right then. Stop it.
You know, in a way, he already proved me right, though. I mean, he just beat Joshua. I mean,
but Joshua isn't on the larger side of that.
Oh, he's pretty big. I mean, especially compared to Usyk.
He's still not 277 when he comes in the ring.
Hey,
and he's definitely not no 6'9"er.
Joshua beat the big man Klitschko. I think he's classified as heavyweight now, but that's just me. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. And we will check out again. You're going to check us out every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. As always, we don't pull any punches. And we'll see you again on Tuesday.